called in? Because we just got somebody else added. Okay, so we are recording this. So we're recording all of this, including the video. All of the board participants and the administration is pretty much up with video. So all of this is being recorded, and we will be posting this on the website as soon as we can after the meeting. I don't know how quick that's going to be. I think this file is going to be pretty large, so but we will post that so you can see the other side of this. Everybody is muted, as you probably noticed. That's to keep things quieter, other than the board and administration and so forth. So just we are going to try and say our name, which I guess forgot to do. So I'm Dave Wilkeson. When we talk, we'll start with our name just so that everybody that's dialed in can kind of keep track of who's speaking. I think that'll help. If you want to speak, if you put your hand up in front of your camera, that will work with everybody except for Patty. But if you kind of put your hand up, then I'll recognize you. I think that'll keep us from stepping on each other too much as we're talking. And Rich, if you come up with something for Mike, just put your hand up and I'll pause and see if we can figure that out. Again, you know, if you can email preprints@canfieldschools.net, any last minute questions or comments for the public comment section, you include your name and address in that email. Again, Prince, P-R-I-N-C-E @canfieldschools.net. We'll read that during the public comment section. And I think with that, I think we can start to get rolling. Okay. So, Patty, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Wilkeson, President.
Here.
Mr. Capua, Vice President.
Here.
Mr. Atway.
Here.
Mrs. Klucher.
Here.
Mr. Russos.
Here.
Okay, we're going to say the pledge. Tracy's holding up a picture of a flag. So, oh, and Jenny has one as well. So with that, I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. Oh,
that was rough. Wow.
That was rough. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So note that the pledge is hard to do on a conference call. We've got that. Okay. So we'll start with the principal's report. I guess we'll start with elementary first. Joe, since you're right in front of me, want to go first?
Sure. You know, before the closure, we had our book fair, and Grandparents' Day was combined to that. It was a very successful book sale. I want to thank Patty Hawkinsmith for all her hard work getting everything ready. They actually picked up everything this morning, so that's been taken care of and wrapped up. Grandparents' Day was great. We had about 350 grandparents here. First grade did a great presentation for our kids.
I can't hear anybody. Can anybody hear me out there?
Yes, Mike, we can hear you.
I can hear you, Mike.
I can't hear anybody.
All right, I muted Mike. Rich, if you could straighten him out.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Can you hear us now, Mike?
We can see him.
Okay, keep going, Joe.
Last week on Friday and then this Monday, our teachers worked really, really hard to get ready for this closure, preparing assignments, getting things ready for kids. I want to give them a huge shout out. I mean, our staff really worked hard to do what was best for our kids. I think for the next couple of weeks, our kids are pretty set to work at home. I just want to thank my fellow administrators. I want to thank the CEA for working with us, and I'm hoping that this thing ends quickly and we get back to business as usual.
Thank you. Travis?
Yeah, we've had a interesting weekend with CH Campbell. Obviously, a lot of the events and things that we're looking forward to in the future here, we're evaluating as we go along. A couple of quick notes: Spring Festival has been canceled for this year, as well as our 4th grade STEM day that we were looking at having on Friday. In addition to that, we're postponing the kindergarten informational meeting, and statewide testing is still a little uncertain at this time, so we're looking at having that postponed as well. There's other events that are still under consideration. I know a lot of the community is curious about kindergarten registration, but that's something that we'll be looking at in the future. The biggest thing that I wanted to say is just how our teachers have really stepped up to the plate with this, with a very small window to get materials prepared and move to a remote learning environment. It was pretty impressive to see the amount of work that those teachers did in such a short period of time. Very encouraged with some of the opportunities our teachers are offering to our students. We have some bedtime stories being read to students before they go to bed at night. We've got conferences, individual one-on-one video tutoring going on with some of the kids as well. A lot of the teachers are just figuring this out, and we're working with them. One of our teachers, Tammy Sabrin, is going to be featured on WKBN tomorrow, I believe, for some of the things that she's doing with her kids as well. But it's really impressive to see how all of these technologies that the teachers have never been exposed to, they're just grabbing and running with and finding whatever in-service they can online to really try and offer something good to our kids. And we've got more stuff that we're looking at and considering and planning to try and offer even more opportunities to our students moving forward through this as well. The one thing that I was going to touch on as well is, in addition to our teaching staff, the rest of our staff really stepped up as well. Custodial and maintenance have been in the building, sanitizing absolutely everything. I think the building's the cleanest that it's probably been in a very, very long time. So that's a wonderful thing as well. Secretaries and fielding a lot of the calls and a lot of the frustrations of many of our community members, again, doing an outstanding job. But also just thank you to our CEA, to the board members, for everybody that's been a part of this. I think we're definitely moving in a very positive direction, and I look forward to seeing just how far we can push the envelope here in the weeks to come.
Thanks, Travis. Todd or Mike?
Good evening, everybody. Things went really well. Monday and Tuesday, they were really busy in the school. We had a lot of students coming up to their lockers and getting things. And then we had 4 tables set up in the lobby for grades 5 through 8. So we had about, I think, almost everybody except 1 or 2 came in and picked up their packets that they needed. Today, it was like a ghost town. It was the quietest I've ever been in a school. So I think everybody's up and running. I received about 3 emails from parents about some questions. Back to the teacher right away within a couple of minutes. They were up and running and taken care of. I had some phone calls regarding lunch. I just want to thank Terry Hutchison. She laid out the game plan for 11 to 1 on Tuesday and Thursdays. The parents couldn't be happier. So I feel like everybody's up and running. I've been just doing some emails with our teachers here and there, just checking on them, and everyone sees it. And just lastly, just again, the custodians all day today disinfected. They had the spray guns at our, so they were spraying each classroom. They did the offices. And so from here on out, we're just going to, if parents need to come in, we're just going to use the lobby and shut down the rest of the building just so it stays sanitized. But a great team effort by everybody. Appreciate everything.
Awesome. Mike or Mike Flood?
I'm Mike Moldavon here. Can I talk?
Wait 1 sec. I think Mike Flood is. By the way, you are working, Mike Moldavon, so that's good.
I'm
But
working.
hang on
I
1
finally
sec.
got it. Thank God for
Mike
Rich Shields.
Mike Flood.
I just want to say the same thing that Mr. Rubin said. It's been a great thing. The students worked their butt off. The school was very clean. All the parents seemed very happy. We answered every question, and day by day. So we appreciate your support and going from there.
Thanks, Mike. All right, Mike Moldovan.
Okay, at the high school, we had a very productive few days. We probably gave out over 20 laptops. This was from the cart that Renee had procured for us through that grant. So we did give out over 20 laptops, probably about 23, I think, by the time I left today. We gave probably about 5 or 6 hotspots out. People were coming yesterday. There were a lot more, or I'm sorry, Monday they were a lot more, and then Tuesday, today, or yesterday was a little sketchy. There were a few people here and there, not too bad. Really didn't get many issues or many problems. I think the teachers are doing a great job. The high school is really busy. We're really concerned about our master schedule for next year. So Rich Shields and I worked very hard on that master schedule these last couple days. I just want to make sure Mr. Tullio knows how hard we worked on that master schedule. He'll understand why I said that. And we still have some work to do putting classes together, but it's been very productive and things have gone very well.
Awesome. Rich?
Yeah, I've just been fielding calls. We've had a couple teachers come in and, some of our teachers don't have a lot of Google Classroom experience. Most are very well versed, but some don't have a lot of experience. So little mishaps here that, we're ironing out the kinks. Had to actually do a FaceTime call with a parent today to solve a computer problem from her at her house. But it's kind of going off without a hitch. Little things here that are going one way or the other, and we're coming up with ways to resolve them. And it's kind of worked out very well. I've been nothing but impressed with our staff. I've been nothing but impressed with the professionalism that's been going on around our building. We're just putting one foot forward, moving ahead. It's a really, really great thing to see when things are tough. How people bind together and create an atmosphere that is best case scenario for our students. I'm proud. I'm really proud to be here right now, because of what's kind of going on. So, shout out to all of our staff, just the way they're working really hard, and, our parents are being patient, and, they're emailing, and, one of the responses that, I got that I really liked, one of the emails, and I quote, "Fair enough, Mr. Shields. Fair enough." That was it. That was the level of understanding that's going on is quite impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will probably want to just take a pause here and go around to the various board members. I imagine we all kind of have something we want to say about this. I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, and I've got 2 kids. Again, this is Dave Wilkerson. I've got 2 kids in the district, so I've got a high schooler and I've got a 7th grader, and I've been really, really impressed with the work that they're doing, the amount of interaction they're having with their teachers. And I've been hearing, I've been seeing stuff on Facebook. I've been getting text. I've been getting phone calls, and all of it has been very positive. I mean, I know there are some hiccups here and there. But I think everybody understands that there's going to be hiccups. Parents understand it, kids understand it, teachers understand it. And I really am excited and proud how we're all kind of pulling together and trying to pull something off that if you had said to me 2 weeks ago that we were going to try and do this, I mean, honestly, and this is the truth, up until last Wednesday, I was convinced that if this happened, we would shut the school down and just everybody would just pause and come back. I mean, I thought that was what we would have to do. I am really, really impressed that we were able to get this rolling, and as quickly and without any notice, really. Super impressive. I don't know, board members, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to say something, Jenny, go ahead.
This is Jenny Kluchar. I want to give a shout out. My son attends Hilltop. Mr. Baroni greeted me yesterday when we walked up to get his packet, and Mrs. Palumbo, they were cheerily greeting everybody as they came up. We got our packets home. I've gotten an email each day from my son's teacher. It's been amazing. And me being a teacher by trade, I pulled out my old class dojo. I have a child with extensive behavior needs, and I got a call today from Mrs. Dankovich, the guidance counselor, to check how my child made the transition at home. I was so excited to hear from her. And we're using our class dojo, so he's earning everything the way the psychologist recommended. So we're adjusting. It is, you know, we got to remember our kiddos that have some special needs, but it's going good for us, and I'm really grateful for all the support that's been given us.
Any other board members? Go ahead, Nader.
Yeah, I was just going to say a shout out to everyone. So a lot of times you put a plan together and the execution is lacking, but in the time that we were able to have this short time frame, the execution has been phenomenal. From high school to eighth grade, my eighth grader, and even the fourth grader, they've been very engaged. I kind of had to control my fourth grader to make sure he didn't finish all his work at once because he's that excited. But Mrs. Benson, Mr. Lavery, I got to give her a shout out too because of the fact that she had a group FaceTime with the class, so she kept them engaged and they were able to all sit down and meet at the same time and talk. So that was highly exciting for him. But on all levels and all fronts, I thank each and every one of you guys and commend you. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that say we could probably do things a little bit better, but in the short time frame that we had, I felt like we've done a phenomenal job in being able to execute. So kudos to all of you.
Mr. Rousas?
Yes, experiencing this firsthand, being the grandfather of two elementary students, C.H. Campbell, I can tell you this whole situation was handled beautifully. The passion and patience that was shown by the elementary school teachers was overwhelming. And it just showed how much professionalism and, as I said before, compassion they had. I want to thank all the teachers.
Tracy?
Hi, this is Tracy DeCapua. I just want to say, if you would have told me at the beginning of my 4-year term that we would be undergoing basically mass chaos, I wouldn't have believed you. That everything that we've endured over this past year has happened. But I'll tell you what, I have never been more proud to be a Canfield community member, parent, and resident. And that is it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And by the way, Jenna spent the 5 hours the first day working on schoolwork. She said she was bored. Then she spent 3 hours and then 2 hours today, and she's running low on work. So I got to find some other things to keep her busy. So it's interesting to see her actually excited to do some schoolwork in her pajamas with the dog in her lap. So that was pretty cool. Okay, John, did you want to say anything at this point, or?
I'll wait until the superintendent's report.
Okay, awesome. All right, presentation minutes. So for all of the listeners, we get the minutes from previous meetings. We get it ahead of time. We forego reading them because they're kind of long. After we approve them, we put them up on the website, so you can always go and read what we've approved. So with that, can I have a motion to approve the February 19th, 2020 regular meeting minutes and the February 26th, 2020 special meeting minutes?
Nader Atway will make that motion.
I second it.
That was Mike. Okay. Any discussion of the minutes? Patty, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Roussos?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes. Okay, now we have the treasurer's report. So we get all of these reports ahead of time from Ms. Prince, and now she'll answer any questions or make any comments on those, on all those reports. So Patty?
Okay, I'd like to comment on the appropriation report. We are 2/3 of the way through the school year as of the end of February, and that would be 67%, and that's about where the budget is. However, you know, in light of the current situation, I was starting to look at each of the line items and evaluate, and I guess the budget really probably won't change that much because the bulk of it is in salaries and benefits, and at this point we are committed to paying those to our employees. So I'm not sure that there will be much of a change in the bottom line for this school year, whether we go back or not, I guess. Did anybody have any questions on the appropriation report? And then I only had comment on the purchase order register. The new items start on page 14 that you hadn't seen before. And what we're working on now, there's a lot of purchase orders that items are going to be canceled, items for the plays or for athletics. So we're going back trying to see what we need to cancel, get refunded at this point. So not a whole lot of new orders going in at the present time. Any questions on any purchase? Yes.
On the things that we have to cancel, are there any big ticket items that we won't be able to get refunded?
And that was Tracy DeCapua speaking.
I'm sorry, that's Tracy DeCapua.
The biggest item that, so like the state wrestling meet was, we had all those checks, but they didn't go at all, so we got all our money back with that stuff.
Okay.
The one thing that we are probably going to have trouble with is the Sound of Music at the middle school, because they were ready to put the performance on. It was that coming weekend. And all the playwrights and the props and all that stuff. So we've put that money in the safe for the tickets in case they are able to perform that when we return. But that's kind of a big unknown. But no, most everybody's being pretty cooperative about refunding for any, especially the athletic events that were scheduled aren't being held. So I don't know, it's, you know, we're just waiting and seeing on a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
And then I just had comment on the investment report. Of course, you know, the Federal Reserve cut the rate to near zero, and I'm thankful that we have several CDs that are in the high 2s and 3s percentage range. Now most of those are going to come due partway through this year. A lot of them in November, actually. So we're good till then, but then when we have to reinvest that money, you know, I doubt the rate's going to be as high as those. So I have no other comments unless you have some questions.
I don't. Well, other than, so the free and reduced lunches, I think I read somewhere that they were expanding reimbursements. Is that right, or was that just rumor, or do you know? Do you not know?
No, Carrie was in talking about that today, as a matter of fact. All the lunches, and I think she did 126 yesterday or around that range, we will be able to apply for reimbursement for those. So that's a good thing. We're able to provide for those students and not lose money while we're doing that. So.
And that, and it's any student, right? So we can encourage people that are in need, even if they weren't on the free and reduced lunch program, to apply, right?
That's probably a question for Terry, but I do believe they needed to be part of the program.
Okay. Judd.
I dealt with something like that today, Terry and I. A family's had some hardships where her husband isn't working right now. And so I reached out to Terry. It's simply, she reaches out to the parent, they fill out the form, and then they're able to get lunches. So there is relief. There is relief for families that are going through hardships during this time.
Awesome. Yeah, I did. That's what I thought I saw, something to that effect. So we'll definitely encourage people to come forward. And the other thing too, just I guess for everybody to note, including the people that are dialed in, the Canfield Rotary is also helping to coordinate some food gifts for any family, beyond kids, obviously for kids as well, but for entire families if that's needed. So there are some other charitable organizations in our community that are trying to help with these needs. And I think we're probably going to see this get worse over the next few weeks as this really starts to take hold. So. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's reports?
Mrs. DeCapua, motion to approve.
This is Kluchar, second.
Any further discussion on the treasurer's reports? Patty, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Russos?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. Okay, we have some student resolutions, and I think I made Jenny step forward to read them.
Yes, sir. Okay, student resolutions, March 18th, 2020, 37-2020 through 41-2020, and 44 and 45. Boys swimming, whereas Matthew Peckman was a state qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Luke Dietz was a state qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Connor Fritz was a state qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Ty Schaub was a state qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Cameron Burnett was a state qualifier in boys swimming, and whereas Nick Barber was a state qualifier in wrestling, and whereas Anthony Delicio was a state qualifier in wrestling, and I do sincerely apologize if I butchered anybody's name, and whereas these accomplishments brought honor to themselves, their families, and their school, therefore be it resolved that these students be commended for these outstanding accomplishments and that these resolutions be spread upon the official minutes of the Canfield Board of Education and that copies be presented to them.
Great. And normally we would have those individuals in and the coach and so forth. Unfortunately, we can't do that, but those are all great things. I think I need a motion to approve those resolutions.
Motion made.
Motion.
Okay, so I heard everybody. So Patty.
Yeah. Take your pick, Patty.
Me too.
Did we have a second?
Second, Mike.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, can I have a roll call, Patty?
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Russos?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. Okay, this is the public comment section. Let me take the first one because it's short. This is from Lee DeFlorio, 250 Russo Drive, Canfield. Her question was, how long do we anticipate the school closure? I know California is saying their students may not go back till the fall. Will that happen here? And I guess I'll just take that. We have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, we know about the next 3 weeks. Just to point out, and I think this is sort of interesting, we found out the school was closing watching the same news conference that everybody else did. There were rumors, but I think a lot of people heard rumors. The school had no more information than anybody else. So, I don't know. I mean, we're just, I guess, going day to day, week by week at this point. Tracy, do you have that second comment?
Me?
No, I guess not.
I don't have comments.
She didn't get that email. Patty,
I have it if you.
Oh, you got it? You have the.
I have it printed if you want.
Yeah, can you read it?
You want me to read the entire thing?
Yep.
Okay. You're talking about from Ms. Piver?
Yep.
Okay. So the other comment that I'll read was, I'd like to take a moment and thank the district for working so hard this week. I think it is equally, well, and I should preface, this is from Michelle Carol Piver on 4970 Tippecanoe Road. So again, I would like to take a moment and thank the district for working so hard this first week. I think it is equally important to thank families for also working so hard this week. We are all in the middle of a situation most are uncomfortable with. Teachers who enjoy engaging with their students suddenly being confined to computer screens. Parents who are already confused about air testing and Common Core are being asked to not just do the homework, but also lead the lessons, with only an email for guidance. But I think most are making it through okay. I am concerned about some gaps in communication, and while I am sure they are not intentional, they are important. First, some parents do not use technology as comfortably as others, and depending on the platform content, may require a special app. Adobe is not compatible with Apple. Usually there is an app for those. I have not seen much information regarding the help desk, and some parents may not know how to utilize the help desk or when it is necessary for them to contact them. Perhaps a video on the web page could be helpful from our tech guys to explain how they can help families. Second, special education. Some families have teams of support for their child at school, aides, intervention, specialists, etc. These are services the district provides their teachers all day, every day. Parents are being given instruction sheets of resources and suggestions, but is that enough? Zoom seems like a good platform for every intervention specialist to have for families to have face-to-face contact. Having our counselors available in the same capacity would be helpful too. Someone parents can turn to if they are feeling overwhelmed or unsure. This situation requires the district to support the families as much as the students and teachers to make everyone successful. I know this is overwhelming for faculty, staff, and administrators, but it's overwhelming to us too. ESC should also be included in helping families. Continuity of care should be a priority as the kids they service are vulnerable for regression and behavior issues related to the anxiety and confusion they may have regarding the change in routines and or the circumstances we are dealing with as a collective community. Canfield Local Schools spends quite a lot of money to contract with ESC to provide services, so we should be expecting that they are working just as hard as our teachers, families, and students are. ODE has said that ESC providers should be working through the shutdown at this point. If a service provider is providing a service for their students even above what's written in their individual education plans, they should try as much as possible to continue. And if they cannot, they should help more in depth than just a Word document with suggestions. My son normally participates in a peer group weekly, even though it's not written in his IPE above consultation. He still needs that. He probably needs that more during this quarantine period. Again, kids are used to things like FaceTime or Google Hangout. Can't we still try to offer those things using remote techniques? Other guidance on prompting, data collection, or for IEP goals, implementing accommodations, and PBIS techniques deserve more attention to help students not regress and to support families. We all realize that this is new and it's trial and error, but some of our families need more help. How can we improve? Question mark. Michelle Carol Piver.
John, you address.
Yes, sir. Well, we're doing the best that we can in such short notice. We will continue to address these issues. Mr. Ditto is aware of the issues and he's dealing with them. If any parent of a special needs child has any concerns, they need to contact Mr. Vitto directly so that he can deal with them on a one-on-one situation. As far as the ESC, I spoke to the ESC earlier today, and they're reaching out to the families that they service. And again, if there's a problem, the families need to pick up the telephone and call the ESC. They're more than willing to help. Any child, any family throughout the district that is, if they feel lost, have concerns, we've mentioned it on our Facebook page and on our messages sent out. Please contact the teachers directly, email them. If they can't email them, they can email the school. They can call the building administrators in each one of our buildings, and they will do whatever they possibly can to assist or correct any issues. But we need to hear from them individually. We're there to help, and everybody's there, and everyone's working extremely hard to accomplish our goals.
Thanks, John. One other thing that I heard in there was the help desk, and I can speak to that a little bit because I've been helping out a little bit with getting that in place. So we've had no tickets sent in, which probably means that we aren't getting the word out enough. So there is an email address. It is cls_tech@canfieldschools.net. It's in our FAQ that we've been trying to push people to on the website, and that is available. We've increased the staff for help, both for parents, kids, and for teachers. So if they send an email to that, it's tracked and distributed to the team. We have shifted all of our STEM teachers into roles that they're actually helping to support teachers and parents through this process. So, I definitely would encourage people that if they have any kind of issues to send an email there, technical issues, to send an email there and get some help. And then obviously with class issues, like John said, email the teachers. I mean, that's what they're there for. So, do we have any other?
Yeah.
Somebody wants to talk. Wait. Nader, go ahead.
I was just to your point on the help desk, in reading her email, it almost seems like there's a lack of information on how to get to it. So it's in the FAQ, but is there anywhere else for them to find how to tap into the help desk?
Renee, hang on, you're muted. Renee English, go ahead and unmute. I'll unmute you.
Click on the homepage of the website. There's a special section called COVID-19, and it says, need help, email technical support, and you click right on it, and it sends the email directly to them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Renee.
Okay, and I think we'll continue to keep trying to get the word out about that. I mean, I think that is an important tool, and I think as we go along, we're in day 2 of this, right? Because day 1 was theoretically yesterday. Monday was still a day that we were trying to get all the materials out and so forth. So we're really in day 2 of this. So I would expect that more technical issues will crop up as we go along. So we'll definitely continue to try and keep getting the word out on that. I think that's important. I think it's important for parents to feel supported. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just going back to the closure and prolonged and possible closure, and I was just rereading the email from the Ohio Department of Education, which basically just says decisions about future educational activity will be made prior to the end of the 3-week period. So we'll know one way or another probably in the next, I would say, week to 10 days.
Yeah.
Mike's cat. I'm sorry.
Mike's cat. Mike Moldovan has a cat, and the tail of the cat is bouncing around his head.
The cat?
Patty, do we have any other public comments? Did we get any more?
Yes. Got one from Christina Goodrich on Lockheath Lane, and she says, have AP tests been canceled? Any word about graduation?
Mike Moldovan?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. As far as the AP test, I think every high school administrator is really concerned about that. We're going to wait until the end of the 3 weeks, and then I think once the governor gives us some direction on how the rest of the year goes, we're waiting for AP to make some decisions. Keep in mind that the AP test is given all across the country at the same time, like psychology, AP Psych is the same time all across the country, the same day. So it's going to cause a lot of issues, but we're just kind of holding off on that. As far as graduation is concerned, a lot of talking to the counselors, some of the staff, and again, we're just going to hold off until the governor gives us some directions, and then I think we're going to get together with Mr. Tullio and all the stakeholders, and we'll have to make some decisions then. It would be premature for us now to make any decisions or to comment any further on that. It's very difficult. We try to be proactive in situations, but it's very difficult to be proactive when daily we watch the governor every day give an update, and we just kind of hold our breath as to what's coming next. So once again, more information will be coming on that, I would say within the next 10 days, as Tracy said, when decisions are made across the state.
And thanks, Mike. Mr. Malich, who kind of leads our tech team, is texting me. I guess he's probably on one of the calls. He says, no tech question is too small. If you send an email to that support, we will put the right hands on it, even if it's not for the tech staff. It's the kind of the de facto tech staff. So again, they're encouraging you to ask for help. So we definitely want to take them up on that. So. Patty, any other comments?
Yes, and Governor, who's the trustee on Raccoon Road, said, in light of the extraordinary circumstances, nice job.
Nice.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else?
There was one more, but there was no content to it, so I replied back and asked for additional information, and they did not reply back. So,
okay.
Do I say their name or no?
Well, if there's no comment, I guess not. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's it.
All right. Great. I appreciate all the comments. Okay. On to new business. Go on.
All right. Personnel. We'll start out. We have 2 resignations as presented. We have Mr. Hammond, Director of Transportation. He's resigning effective April 1st, 2020. And that should be your Exhibit 1A.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the resignation of Rich Hammond, effective April 1?
Motion given, Mike Russo's.
Second, Jenny Kluchar.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes. John?
Okay. We have, moving on, we have Gary Kolar, freshman baseball coach. That's Exhibit 1B, as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve Gary Kohler as the freshman baseball coach per Exhibit 1B?
No, I think that's a resignation.
Resignation.
Sorry, resignation.
I'll make that motion. Nader Atway.
DeCapua, second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
Moving on, approve the classified substitutes pending background checks, and that should be your Exhibit 2, number 2, as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the classified substitutes Sydney Bowman, John Price, Melissa Stanish, Brittany Truax, Devanzo.
Jenny Kluchar moves to approve all classified substitutes 1 through 5 as read.
Second.
Nader Atway will second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Capua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Extracurricular, hiring of extracurricular. That should be your exhibit number 3, and it's as presented. And Patty, you may want to comment on that.
Yes, we sent out a revision today in an email. Only one that we're approving is a correction from a February meeting, high school track coach at 0.75 time Johnny Ware.
Okay. Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the extracurricular list revision in exhibit number 3?
The Capua so moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Nader Atway.
Okay. Give that one to Nader. Patty. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Capua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
I think her audio is messed up. Jenny, can you say something?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. You're
roll
voting.
Call, or not roll. Yeah,
You're voting on
I've been answering.
Okay, say it again because it didn't come through. Say your vote on.
You can't hear me?
No, we do now, but we didn't for a second. Say your vote on
on
the
the
extracurricular list.
I vote yes.
Okay.
Mr. Russo's?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. John?
Okay. Item 2, approve request for summer school. We're anticipating having summer school, the middle school from June 8th through July 1, and that's exhibit number 4A. And we have C.H. Campbell and Hilltop Elementary, July 27th through the 30th, August 3rd through the 6th, and the 10th through the 13th, 2020, and that's exhibit 4B.
On the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the request for summer school exhibits number 4A and 4B?
Jenny Kluchar moved to have summer school.
I have a second.
Second.
That was Mike Rousas. Any discussion? Roll call.
Whoa, discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
No, this is all pending, correct? Pending what happens with all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So we would just have.
Yes, Jenny.
I guess the principles.
So we could do the action now and then revoke the action later if things change, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We can always cancel.
Guys, principles, I mean, so we would schedule this pending, depending on how this all works out, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
I would think so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Capua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Rose,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Yes. And John, we skipped that transfer. I know we don't have to vote on that. At least I don't think we need to vote on that.
Right. Yes, if we go back to personnel, we'd like to transfer, you don't have to vote on it, but we're going to transfer Vicki Latimer from the 7th grade math teacher at the middle school to the new health teacher at the middle school. We had several candidates from within the district apply, and Mr. Rubin is recommending Vicki to take that position. And that's for information only at this time.
Okay.
So if we move on, we want to approve the Success by 6 summer program at Hilltop Elementary School. Again, depending on what's going on, hopefully everything's settled down and we're back in the full swing of things. But that's for July 27th through August 14th, and that's your exhibit number 5, and that's funded by United Way.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the Success by 6 schedule at Hilltop per exhibit number 5?
The Capua, so moved.
Nader, I will second.
Nader beat you. Patty Nader beat Jenny.
Okay.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Yes.
Okay, the next item, Canfield Local Schools Gifted Identification Plan, and that's exhibit number 6. We're asking for approval.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the gifted identification plan detailed in exhibit number 6?
The Capua, so moved.
I have a second.
Okay, Klucher will second this one.
Okay. Any discussion of that plan? Comments?
It's long.
Yeah. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Capua,
Yes.
Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson.
Yes.
Okay, we want to approve out-of-state overnight field trips for the boys soccer team and the girls soccer team. The boys leaving on July 16th, returning on the 19th. The girls, July 24th through 27. Again, understanding that you're just approving the trip. Depending on what's going on, they may have to be canceled. Hopefully not, but that is a possibility. And that's your exhibit number 7A and 7B.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the out-of-state overnight field trips for the boys, high school boys soccer team and high school girls soccer team to the dates listed in exhibit 7A and 7B?
Nader, that way makes that motion.
Nader beat you that one. The Nader
beat me again.
first. Jenny, you want to second it?
I will second. Yes, Jenny will second.
Okay. Any discussion? Obviously, we pointed out that this is, I would say, a tenuous approval, but we'll see how things go. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Capua,
Yes.
Kluchar, yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
Okay, takes us to item number 6, the second reading of the policies, and that's your exhibit number 8.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the these policies listed in Exhibit 8? For those listening, this is probably 1.5 inches or 2 inches worth of paper in changes or policies. So it covers 1310, employment of a treasurer; 1340, non-employment of a treasurer; 5113.02, school choice options; 5200, attendance; 5230, late arrival, early dismissal; 5350, student mental health and suicide prevention; 5460, graduation requirements; 7300, disposition of real property and personal property; 7440.03, small unmanned aircraft systems; 8400, school safety; 8403, school resource officer; 8462, student abuse and neglect; 8500, food services; 1615, use of tobacco by administrators; 3215, 4215, 5512, and 7434, use of tobacco. Most of these revisions, the UAS one and the use of tobacco by administrators, are both new. Can I have a motion to approve?
Capua, so moved.
So moved.
And just to point out too that most of the changes are due to changes in legislation. I mean, typically that's what drives a lot of these policy changes. We employ an outside legal counsel that keeps us apprised of how these policies need to change for the district. So, and some of these are things that we've been talking about for a number of years as well. So, any other comments on that? Patty, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Capua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes. John?
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, the adopt resolution accepting the amounts and rates. This is your exhibit number 10, and Patty might have to give you a little more information on that.
Okay, first let's have them. Okay, go ahead. So a motion, please. We'll have the motions, and then Patty will explain it. Okay, that was Tracy gave the motion. Have a second.
Kluchar, second, adopt the resolution.
Okay, now Patty, go ahead.
This is an annual resolution required by law, and it just, you're accepting the amounts and rates that the auditor's office has established. The millage rates have not changed from the previous year, 4.9 inside mills and 54.9 outside mills. So it's just a formality, basically.
Great. Any other discussion on that? Comments? That makes sense to everybody? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Russos,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes. John?
Okay, donations as per enclosed list. That's your exhibit number 9.
Based on the recommendations of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the donations listed on exhibit number 9?
Jenny Kluchar moves to accept the donations.
Capua, second.
And this totals $7,697.50, and that will bring our donations for the year to $61,341.88, which as I say every time I look at that, it's a lot of money that our parents are donating, and our businesses in the area are donating. So it's great to have that support for sure. Patty, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Russos?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Before we move on
Superintendent's
to the superintendent's report, Dave, I did forward you an email from Tracy Hostetler. It was a legal opinion that she received, and they're recommending that the board consider passing a resolution. I can't call it up. I don't know if you're able to read that email I sent you.
I may have gotten lost in my stuff. I don't think I have it. Patty, do you have it?
I don't know. Pat?
Is that the one from Pepple and Wagner?
Yes.
Yeah, I have it. Pepple and Wagner recommends the boards consider passing a resolution conferring emergency powers on the superintendent and treasurer. This will allow your superintendent and treasurer to respond to changing conditions and district needs rapidly and efficiently. We recommend that the authority be conferred until schools reopen and operations return to normal.
And in layman's terms?
I think they're want to give us to make decisions without having to call an emergency board meeting.
Right. Due to the circumstances we're in right now, there might be some decisions that have to be made immediately, and we would only do that in those situations.
And this came from Tracy Hostetler? This was what was recommended to them?
Pepple and Wagner
No,
is law firm. They're another law firm in the state that specializes in school.
Okay, so this just came down through them.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the downside of that, Patty? If there is one.
What's that?
Is there a downside to this action?
Well, honestly, I don't think either of us would do anything without conferring with the board president and vice president, but it wouldn't require a special meeting.
What all does that cover? What all would that cover?
I guess it would cover any decision that we'd have to make.
Is that a statewide recommendation coming? Like, so is this going to all school boards as a recommendation? Or is this coming just as a canceled school board from?
I would say that this recommendation is coming through the ESC, and they are recommending that all of the districts in this area adopt this resolution. I can't say if it's going statewide. I can only assume that it would be.
It seems vague.
I'd kind of like to think about it. I mean, I didn't see this ahead of time, so I'd kind of like to think about it. I mean, we're going to have a number of meetings, and in fact, that's on my list of things under other that we need to make sure we have figured out. So we can definitely vote on that in one of these upcoming meetings.
That's fine. It's no problem.
Unless anybody disagrees and wants to vote on it.
No, I mean, I'd like more information. Like, you know, who was it sent to, or is it just something for to make, you know, for their firm? I'm a little confused. Pretty ambiguous.
Jenny.
Yeah. We would need a motion, and a motion has not been made.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
let's
we withdraw the recommendation.
well, let's just pause it and we'll see about it for the next meeting. Okay.
Okay. All right, Superintendent's Report. Well, first and most importantly, I need to thank everybody for the tremendous amount of support given to central office. Our CEA, our teaching staff, they just did a phenomenal job, and they continue to do a phenomenal job working with our students, our administrators who have worked many, many hours in assisting our staffs, not only our classified, but our certified staff. They've gone way beyond, and I can't thank them enough. I just can't find the words to thank everybody for the superb job. I guess that's what really makes Canfield a special place. And just a super thank you to everyone involved. I can tell you that the secretaries, we have them all started. They're all online. And starting tomorrow, I'm going to ask our building administrators to inform our secretaries that they can start working remotely from home. And I'd like to thank Dave, your suggestion, and working with George in getting that accomplished for us. Our custodians, just about every room in the building has been gone through. They've been sanitized. There's just a couple things they have to finish up, and they will be finished with the entire building. And I'm going to send them home and just have one custodian come out and check on the buildings while we're closed. We also have our 2 maintenance men that'll be involved in that. And then just prior to us reopening, we'll probably go back through one more time and sweep the buildings to sanitize them one more time. The ESC has reached out to our families in any way that they can to help our families. For the students that are out there at the Career Center, the Career Center is working very hard to try to accommodate those kids also. Most of our students are online. Again, that help desk, and until we get that figured out, Dave, we've had very, very few phone calls and questions coming into our main offices. We're going to meet, before I say that, the lunch program. Terry has done a phenomenal job putting lunches together, and they're scheduled to go out tomorrow again. I think she's passed out at least 125 lunches, and she's really excited about that. She does have a question now. If the governor shuts everything down in the state and basically mandates that everybody stay home, are we still going to serve lunches at that time? So that's something we're going to have to look at. And then lastly, what I want to tell you is that on Friday, I will be meeting with our administrators in the morning, first thing in the morning. And then later on, we will be meeting with the CEA leadership to review our current plan, to see where the holes are, if there are some, and how do we fix them, and then how do we prepare to go further. If we have to close down for the rest of the year, we're going to start those discussions also. So that'll be this Friday. So just stay tuned. There's more to come because things change constantly. And we'll try to keep you updated as much as we possibly can. And again, just know that everybody in our district is working as hard as they possibly can to help us get through this situation. And I'm extremely thankful to everyone. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks, John. So the other big thing that's going on, which has been completely overshadowed by this coronavirus thing, is our search for a superintendent. So we've invited, I've invited Mr. Dan Schreier. He was the gentleman who hosted our last week's focus group meetings. I invited him on. Dan, if you'd like to give us an update on kind of where things are, that would be awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Members of the board, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you and everybody else that is listening in tonight. So far, the search is, I think, going very, very well with the process, and I don't see any reason for the process to be altered, and I'll explain more later. On March 10th and 11th, I did have the honor to spend time with 6 different groups as we shared with them who our company was. We shared with them about the entire search process and the timeline, and then we went ahead and started a thought exchange. That thought exchange is going to be open until this Friday at 4:00 p.m. Now, I do want to say I really appreciate the Board of Education. All 5 members of the board attended at least one of those gatherings. A big thank you also goes out to Renee and George for their technical expertise and helping us do videos and making sure the technology was set up. And Josh from the high school, he actually had students come to be able to help, and I think he was at every session as well to help with the technology side, although the technology worked very, very well for all the groups. As of right now, as I sit here and talk to you, we have had 362 participants in the thought exchange. I'm looking at it right now on my screen. There have been 512 thoughts right now and 26,196 ratings. Now, I looked at this before we started the board meeting tonight, an hour and 24 minutes ago, and we were in the 24,000 ratings. There was over 1,200 ratings that were actually expressed just during the time that we had the board meeting. If I look at some of the major themes right now, the very first theme is about character. Number 2 is about communication. And number 3 is someone who values all students and staff, both male and female. So we're getting some really, really good thoughts, some really good participation. Today, I was able to communicate with Christine at the board office as well as Renee, and they sent out more information today, put things out in an email to all the stakeholders, and tried to contact as many juniors and seniors at the high school as possible to get as much participation as we can. On March 24th and 26th, that's our next key dates. Dr. Summers and I, Dr. Robert Summers and I, will be able to meet with the board just here in this WebEx meeting. And Dave, thank you for putting this meeting like this together. I think this will work really well for Dr. Summers and I to work with the board on the 24th and 26th, develop the ideal candidate, and then we'll start getting ready for the interviews in April. We'll certainly first do our talent interviews the second week of April. And based upon how this thing goes with the coronavirus, we are scheduled on April 28th, 29th, and 30th for the first interviews there to the board and the team that the board has assembled. And those of you that have been in business and industry for years, you know that people interview virtually like this all the time because people are now moving state to state and actually country to country. We are equipped and ready to go if we need to do interviews like this online. And quite frankly, that's not a bad thing because we actually get to see maybe some of the technology background that maybe some of our candidates have. Bottom line, the thought exchange is going very, very well. We're developing some really good data. And Board of Education, my thoughts are that we're in good shape and we can still keep moving forward virtually. We had another candidate today that sent their information into Dr. Summers. So we already have people that are applying, and we will also get more once we're done with the March 26th meeting, and we figure out what an ideal candidate is for Canfield schools. Mr. President, I don't know if this is a time that people want to ask a few questions. I know you've already went an hour and a half. I'm happy to stick around and answer questions as long as you need.
How many candidates do we have?
I'm aware of 3, but Dr. Summers, they're all going to him. I haven't seen the list lately. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Any other board members have any questions for Dan?
Dan, it's Nader. I'll just ask just for follow-up. You had said that typically the rush of candidates won't come in until after we've come back out and released the specific qualifications that we're looking for.
So there's everyone, those people that are looking for jobs, they know Canfield's open. Some are, a few have interviewed now, or have applied now, But yeah, the rest are going to wait until probably March 26th, well, the 27th, when we send out the information that the board puts together on what an ideal candidate is. Typically, people don't apply for superintendent positions until the last week it's posted anyway. There's this feeling out there among superintendents and assistant superintendents many times that you don't want to look too eager. You want to make sure you wait until the end. So, you know, the big rush will be in that last week.
Thank you.
Yes, Jennifer.
Yes, thanks, Dan. Is there a closing date on the posting?
Let me see here. Let me go back to that. The closing date is going to be, I believe it's going to be, we don't have it on there yet. That's going to be a conversation on the 24th and 26th. Our suggestion to be that it's going to be Friday, April 10th. And the reason for that is because we're going to be doing interviews the very next week. Now, in the very first posting that has been out, they already are aware that the first interviews are going to happen on the week of April 13th. So that means in their mind, they know they need to get that to us at least a week ahead. So we've only given them the timeline at this point. We haven't given a drop dead timeline yet, but that'll come after the 26th.
We probably have more flexibility into May. I know my trip canceled. I'm fighting to get my airfare back. I don't know, Trace, is your trip going to happen? You're muted, by the way, Trace. You're muted. Is your trip still happening?
My New York trip was canceled 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so
that's good to know in case. That's good to know in case that we do, maybe people are overwhelmed with some of the things going on with the virus, and we don't have many applicants, we can push it back a week or so. That's okay.
Nate, or your trip too probably is canceled, you think, or no?
Correct. Yeah, it's been canceled.
Yeah, so we're all yours now, Dan.
All right.
Yeah, I have trip insurance.
Yeah, well, you're all the way out in June, right? Your trip isn't until June, Jenny, right?
May 31st to June 5th, but I have trip insurance, so I can cancel up until the week before.
Yeah, so that hopefully we have it wrapped by then, but we'll have to see how this all plays out and how this affects this.
I agree. I mean, this is obviously a unique time. Nothing that any current superintendent or current administrator has ever dealt with. The timeline, though, has been communicated, and we'll just keep you informed as members of the board where we're at on as we're getting closer and how many candidates and whether or not we think it's good to add another week or two. We'll let you know.
Great. No current superintendent and no superintendent's parents probably either. So, I mean, this is unprecedented. This is unprecedented in our lifetime and our parents' lifetime. You've got to, I think, go to our grandparents probably to try to find some analogies to this.
Well, again, we appreciate the opportunity to serve you, Mr. President. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and shut down and get supper if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, take care, everybody.
Right, bye, Dan.
Thank you.
Bye, Dan.
So meeting-wise, are we good? So our next board meeting will be on that before our scheduled 24th meeting that's for this search thing. So we've got, just to remind everybody, on the 24th from 6 to 8 and the 26th from 6 to 8, we have scheduled meetings with CF and our search committee. So those meetings will be executive session. We'll have those on WebEx. But we, I think, said the last week that we were going to pull the 24th back so that it starts at 5. Hello?
Hello?
I don't know what happened there.
Oh, what happened?
Yep, there we're back. Not sure
Everybody else is little.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That was interesting. Okay, so does that make sense to everybody? Is everybody good with that?
Yes, good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Anybody else have anything else for the good of the cause? Nader, I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Nader, we see you talking.
Or Mike.
Do you know sign language? Jenny's talking too, and we can't hear her. What happened? I think what happened is when that glitched, I think it probably muted you. Yep, Jenny's muted. I think, maybe.
I don't think I'm muted.
You're muted,
I
not
hear you
muted.
now. And Nader is. All right, Nader. We hear you now.
Now?
Yep. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear Nader.
Oh, I was going to type. Thank you, Mr. Tullio and team. So just thank you, John, and your administrative team. You guys have done a phenomenal job. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and so thank you. Keep it up.
And to echo that, while we've been sitting here, I've gotten texts from different parents, and basically they all said exactly the same thing. That this one says, "Awesome job to all. Thank you, thank you, thank you." So I've been getting a bunch of those texts as well. So we really appreciate everything you guys have done.
Yeah, and I want to say too, I know our staff and administration, phenomenal jobs, but also Dave, you and your techies, Georges and George, and Renee, phenomenal job getting everything out from a communication standpoint. And our tech team, wow, I mean, they've been working their butts off getting all this set up. So kudos to them, and pass that on, please.
Go team!
Absolutely.
All right, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Capua, motion.
Can I have a second?
Kluchar, second.
All right, Patty, roll call. Oh, I bet Patty is probably muted.
Oh.
Patty.
I can hear you.
Yep, you're good. Go ahead.
There you go.
There you go.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for those
everybody.
listening.
Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
for everybody. And goodbye.
Hey, Dave.
Thank you.
Hang on one sec, Patty.
You're being recorded. Yep. And that record.
Yep. Go ahead, Patty. What?
With that last glitch that happened,
Yeah.
it finally popped up on my screen.